Hey everyone, and welcome back. Have you ever opened up a spreadsheet, seen that big grid of empty boxes, and just felt completely lost? If you've ever wanted to get a handle on programs like Excel or Google Sheets, but had no idea where to even begin, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break it all down and demystify spreadsheets from the ground up.
Yeah, staring at a blank spreadsheet can be pretty intimidating. It kind of feels like a giant, empty page of graph paper just daring you to do something. But trust me, by the end of this short explainer, you're going to see this grid not as something confusing, but as your new favorite tool for organizing, well, just about anything.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the absolute basics. Then we'll learn the core vocabulary. After that, and this is the fun part, we'll unlock the real magic of spreadsheets, formulas. I'll even give you a starter toolkit of functions you can use right away. And finally, we'll shift our thinking from just entering data to actually building smart systems. So let's get started.
Okay, so first things first, what is a spreadsheet really? It's not just some digital ledger or a fancy calculator. Nope, it's way more dynamic than that, and the concept is actually a lot simpler than you might think. At its heart, a spreadsheet is a smart grid. You can think of it like a checkerboard, but where every single square, we call them cells, is a tiny programmable container. It can hold info, it can do calculations for you, and it can even make simple decisions based on the rules you set. Let's use an analogy to make this really clear. Think of your spreadsheet like a kitchen. The numbers and text you type in, those are your ingredients. The individual cells, those are your mixing bowls. And the formulas? Well, that's the recipe that tells the spreadsheet exactly how to combine all those ingredients to get you the final dish. Now, we'll be focusing on concepts that apply everywhere, but especially in Microsoft Excel. The really great news, though, is that once you learn the logic, it doesn't matter if you're using Google Sheets, Apple Numbers, or any other program out there. The core skills are totally universal. All right, so now that we know what a spreadsheet is, let's learn how to speak its language. There are just 5 simple terms you really need to know to get around any spreadsheet with confidence. This is your essential vocabulary. So first up, the entire file itself is called a workbook. Inside of that workbook, you have individual pages or tabs, and those are called worksheets. Each worksheet is made up of vertical columns, which are labeled with letters, and horizontal rows, which are labeled with numbers. And where a column and a row meet, you get a cell. We name it with its coordinates, like B3. Simple as that. You know, here's another way to think about it. A workbook is like a big 3-ring binder. A worksheet is just a single page inside that binder. And a cell? That's like a specific line on that page, but one that has the superpower to calculate and think for itself. Okay, now we've arrived at the most powerful, most important part of any spreadsheet. This is the secret sauce that makes the grid do all the heavy lifting for you. This is the magic of formulas. Let's look at this simple budget, right? We've got rent at $1,500 and groceries at $300. Now, to get the total, a lot of people would just pull out a calculator or do the math in their head and type $1,800 right into that total cell. And sure, it looks right, but this is a trap. Because here's the trap. What happens next month when your rent goes up to, say, $1,600? You remember to update the rent cell, but oops, your total is still stuck at $1,800. It's now wrong. You have to manually find that mistake and fix it. This is exactly how those silent, really costly errors sneak into spreadsheets. And this leads us to the single most important mental shift you need to make when you're working with spreadsheets. You're not just a data entry clerk typing answers into boxes. You are a builder. You are creating a dynamic system that calculates the answers for you. And this is the magic. Instead of typing 1,800, we give that cell an instruction. We type equals B2 plus B3. We're telling the spreadsheet, hey, whatever is in cell B2, I want you to add it to whatever is in cell B3. Now it understands the relationship between the numbers, so when you change the rent, the total updates automatically, instantly, every single time. Now that's power. So how do we actually build these awesome systems? We do it with formulas and functions. So let's get you set up with a starter pack, the most common tools that you are going to use all the time. Think of these 5 functions as your essential toolkit. Sum, well, it adds things up. Average finds the, average. Min and max find the smallest and largest values in a list. And count just tells you how many items you have. Honestly, with just these 5, you can solve probably 80% of the problems you'll ever run into. Let's add one more that's a total game changer, the IF function. This lets your spreadsheet make a decision. It's like a fork in the road. First, you give it a logical test, a simple question like, hey, is the score in this cell 145 or higher? Then, you tell it what to show if the answer is yes, in this case, pass. And finally, what to show if the answer is no, like not yet. This is your very first step into spreadsheet logic. So cool.
Okay, so you've learned the basic language, and you've got your first toolkit of functions. Now we get to the really exciting part. What are you going to do with all this? See, you're not just learning spreadsheet commands, you're learning how to build things.
With these simple skills, you're not just doing math anymore. You're building a budget system that tracks your spending in real time. You're building a gradebook to watch student progress. You could build a habit tracker to crush your personal goals, or even an inventory system for a small business. You can build anything you can imagine. You know, the best way to think about it is this. Spreadsheets are like Lego for information. Each little cell is just a simple block. But when you start connecting those blocks together with formulas, you can build these incredible, powerful structures, models that think and do the work for you. Okay, to make this all real, I've got a little challenge for you. It'll take you less than 5 minutes. Seriously. Open up a spreadsheet, create 2 columns, item and cost. List 5 of your own recent expenses. Then, in a cell below, use the sum function to get the total, and in another cell, use the average function to find the average cost. Actually doing this is the best way to make it all click. So now I want to turn it over to you. With these new building blocks in your hands, what's the very first thing that comes to mind that you want to build or organize? Is it a budget? A workout log? Maybe a list of books you want to read? Let us know down in the comments below. And really, if any part of this was confusing or if you get stuck while you're trying out that practice assignment, please ask away in the comments. No question is too simple. This is a place to learn, and we're here to help you along the way. Finally, if this explainer helped turn that intimidating grid into an exciting new tool for you, a like would be amazing. And be sure to subscribe for more explainers just like this one that make complex topics simple. Thanks for watching.